Hey there. Hey there, my name is Todd Cochran, and I'm starting a new channel. And you're watching episode 1. This is going to probably be my third or fourth attempt at vlogging. And, for those of you that may know me already, I'm an active podcaster and I run a podcast hosting company. But what I'm going to try to do with this new channel is just kind of give you the insights and the day-to-day happenings of a business owner, a founder, CEO. We'll get into personal stuff. It's really going to be kind of all encompassing. And hopefully I can make it entertaining enough that you're going to hang around and hang out with me and have fun in this journey together. I've been in the media space for a very, very long time, and we'll get more into that later. But this is day 1, vlog 1, and we'll see. Maybe these will come out weekly. I don't know. We'll get the sequence down at some point. But it's a Wednesday, and I've arrived at the office, and in just a few minutes we're going to have our Wednesday morning meeting with the production team. I will not be recording meetings and that type of stuff because obviously it's company confidential, but I'll take you behind the scenes as much as possible. I'll give you a tour of the office here, which, again, this is not even plans. The office is what it is, and I hope that you'll have a good time with me with the vlog, and we'll see where this goes. For those of you that don't know me, I moved to southern Michigan in 2019 after having lived in Hawaii for 25 years. And what I did when I came here is I built a studio inside a old dentist office. So I have a demo area, and then this side of the studio is largely used for productions of stuff that I do for my three shows: Geek News Central, the new media show, and Podcast Insider, which I do with company teammates. So the studio itself is pretty modern. Point tilt zoom cameras. I can have 2 guests in. I use a TriCaster multi-camera shoot, obviously, and then this side here is a demo room with the ability to have a demo shot or have somebody on as well. But again, it's kind of messy. Obviously, this is a active workspace for me. Bathroom on the left, and then I have a green room here that allows me to shoot a green room along with a backup storage, and you can see all the lights here are set up, and there's a whole do-it-yourself setup for doing lights, and then the ability to edit audio and video over here with a backup streaming service from some older gear that I've got here, plus the ability to be portable and on the move. This particular building has 2 bathrooms, plus I've got a little area for making coffee and a microwave, refrigerator, and stuff like that. But you'll probably see a lot more of this as we go through the series and, building this out. But again, a very messy office area with leftover food from McDonald's. But I've got it pretty much decorated up. And, of course, a Red Bull refrigerator. I'm a big Red Bull drinker. Not sponsored or anything. And then some stuff over here is just office cabinets and kind of my I Love Me stuff that I collected while I was in the Navy for 25 years. 105 round off a C-130. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, that's kind of what the studio area looks like. I'll go into more details on all of this as time goes on and show you the setup and how it works. And obviously a very good security system along with a storage area. And boy, I tell you, having had no storage in Hawaii, before. It's been a total godsend. But yeah, all the decorations in here are largely the ones that I picked out myself, and I've got cool stuff on the wall. So we'll talk about that more as time goes on. And but anyway, this is kind of the quick tour of the office, and we'll get more into the nitty-gritty later. Yep, the studio really starts with me getting the studio lights turned on, since the without the fluorescent overheads. And then from that process, really, it's about turning all the gear up. And there's really a sequence I have to do here. And I have everything on cutoff switches so that we're not burning electricity unnecessarily. There's lots of laptops and, power bricks and stuff that are essentially not powered up 90% of the time, so that we don't have any extra power drain. But really, it starts over here. I'd already turned on the power for these two, and it really, what this is these are two Mac Minis, and those will start booting up. I've already booted up this Mac Mini, and some people ask, well, why do you have so many computers? And part of it is just the ease of use of getting everything up and running. So I have side lights as well that bring in light from here, light on top. It's all good. But these two computers are booting up. This one here has booted up. This is where I really control all the live stream. This is an old MacBook Pro that has been basically it only run anymore largely on a power supply. The battery in it is bad. Luckily hasn't swelled up. So this computer here, this MacBook Pro in front of me, is used to control all the monitoring the live stream, all the chat. And then the computer that you probably can't see is just a PC. It's one of the few PCs we have here. That's set up to allow for the live audio stream. So I have an audio input into that, so that when we go live, we can go actually have people listen on an audio stream, not only with a video stream. So most of this is pretty quick. I can usually get the studio set up in about 10 minutes. And I'll walk you through some more of the process here. So these two Mac Minis are really designed to bring in audience members. In today's instance, I'll be doing a show with Rob Greenlee for the new media show, and he'll be up on the top monitor. I run Mac Minis as long as I can until they really have become essentially obsolete. I won't need the browser until later. Won't need Zoom until later, because I connect with Rob via Zoom. So let me go ahead and close that. But we are set up for the new media show today, so I've got the correct back screens on. One thing that's a little bit of an annoyance, we run these two monitors through through what's called a NewTek device. It's called a Spark. They're down here, and what the Sparks do is they provide I come out HDMI out of the Mac Mini into the Spark. Then there's HDMI loop out that goes to the monitors. The Sparks then connect an IP through NDI to go to the TriCaster, so that I can get video to the TriCaster without having to run really an SDI cable. And what it really means there is I'm putting video over IP back to the main TriCaster unit, which I'll show later. But again, these are just standard Mac Minis that are running, and later we'll load Zoom up. Again, I've got the right back screen up that I want. But one annoyance that happens is when these machines come on initially, I don't get full screen. So I have to reset the Spark every time so that I can see the menu item at the top. Let me switch this before I... And then this particular screen is where the interface is for the Rodecaster Duo. This can be utilized for a variety of reasons. There's times that I will send different clips to the show. That'll be played there. I can also take this on the road and use this as my primary recording device. And again, the Apple MacBook Pro that's over here, it is is set up for the ability to control my live, and the PC that's back there. This screen here will be for the TriCaster, and this control surface will come alive. But the first thing I have to do before I can turn up the TriCaster is to get these screens reset so that they're showing correctly. With the monitors reset, you now can see that I've got a menu item at the top of these, so I'm getting full screen sent through the NDI. So let's go ahead and fire up the TriCaster. And again, this is a lot of stuff that's behind the scenes. And over here, just to give you a little bit of an idea, this is a tube amplifier for my microphone, and that's fed into an audio rack. The audio rack has a smart video hub, so I can set the right inputs to the TriCaster. I have the ability to do a compressor. I have an equalizer. I have an Aphex product. It's called the Big Bottom, and then again the power conditioning. So the first thing I have to do is turn that box on, and once that box is all lit up and on, I can reach down here, and down below you can see again we've got a detailed amount of gear. We've got a CyberPower UPS, another power conditioner. We've got a network switch down there, along with some other gear. But let's go ahead and turn on the TriCaster, and then that unit will start to boot. What happens over the next minute or so, one thing I have to do is set up the screen capture so that we can show different types of screens. Let's put that on. I'll select the NDI. I'll select the capture as Google Chrome. And then this machine over here, over the next minute or so, will boot up. And again, this is the unit that has all the switching for the cameras and live. If I had to rebuild this studio again, I would not use a TriCaster. This is really overkill at this point in live streaming. It can be very done with a whole bunch of off-the-shelf services at this point, but because I've had the TriCaster for a number of years, it's my main processing system for video. Okay, now that the TriCaster is fully booted up, you can see that over here, this is the screen that's on this computer. So I've got the ability to show a screen if I want. I've got a split screen set up here with this camera feeding this screen, and then this screen here is this screen over here. So when someone comes in, or when Rob comes in later for the show, he'll show up there and I'll have him centered. Now I have the ability to put myself full screen on that particular screen, and then I can switch when I'm live between those two views. And I can also bring up lower thirds, and then in this instance we're not set up for a sidebar, but let me make a change here real quick on the system. I'm able to bring in a pipper up in the top right hand corner as well. So sorry, I was putting your face right in there. So again, and then I can cycle through. But during the show today, we'll not be using any sidebars. We'll actually be utilizing the menu system that's here. So this is really set up now for the show, and then I can bring in the second screen. So really what I've done here is I'm really ready from the live production standpoint to be able to stream and record. And I do a double recording. I'll show that to you here a little later. I do a double recording so that what ends up happening is I have a backup. I have a high resolution recording on this machine on the TriCaster, then I have a backup recording on another machine, because you never know when something's going to go sideways and you're going to lose a recording. I do multicast to a lot of different places so that when we go live, we actually will stream to YouTube, we'll stream to X, Facebook, to a couple of other locations. I think 7 or 8 different actual streaming locations. So the lights are all on, so you guys are kind of getting in the face here. But I use Restream.io to stream to multiple locations. I use Wowza specifically for HLS, is to be able to have an HLS stream that goes into new podcasting apps at podcastapps.com to allow the video to be watched on podcasting apps that will support live video within the apps. So that kind of lays out just a little bit of the studio, and I'm sure many of you are like, "Oh my God, Todd, you're insane! What you've got going on here." And from a standpoint, it is a little bit overkill. But again, when I started streaming more than 10 years ago, there was really you had to have a lot of equipment. So a lot of this gear is now such that I really don't need as much of the gear as I have, but I'm going to use it as long as it exists and until the day that it dies here. So I've got a Mac Pro. It's an old, one of the old I call it garbage cans. And let me go ahead and get logged in and see if that'll sit there. And this machine will act as the secondary. I do all the video production here. You can see over in the right corner previous recordings, but I use a Blackmagic box to be able to capture video. And one thing about this Mac Pro, it's got a little bit of an issue right now. It has, for a better word, lost its ability to sense whether it's hot or cool, so the fans just run absolutely continuous. So what we have now is we've got the capture, and this will record a master recording of the audio and video later when we go live, and this will be the one that I edit from. Again, there's a backup video recording that is on the TriCaster itself that is much higher quality. And to add to this absolute insanity, if we come back over to the rack here, there's a Denon audio recorder here that I record audio to as well. So it's all about the backup and having everything ready to actually to go live. And if you want to see some of the production that comes out of the studio, you can go over to newmediashow.com. Literally about 10 minutes away from, maybe even shorter, from going live with the New Media Show. And so this is where I fire off all the recorders. Recorder is recording, and I have to remember to make sure to turn the volume down, because if I don't turn the volume down, I'll be able to hear the show through the computer speakers, providing a feedback loop. I've already started the audio recorder, which I showed you earlier. The red light is on. Everything is ready to go except for logging into Zoom and having Zoom be ready to go. Authorizes the account, and then I go to my calendar for today, which is the 18th, and I launch the Zoom meeting. I'll start the video as soon as Rob logs in. I got to get the computer screen in front of me. What's going on? So when I'm doing the show, I can see myself live. And as you can see, the GoPro. So we'll come back a little later and show this. I'll go do the live show now, and we'll come back afterwards. As the show is now wrapped up and everyone is off, now the editing begins, and it's really a pretty simple process. So because this is both an audio and a video podcast, a true audio and video podcast, where there's both independent shows on Apple Podcasts and other places you consume podcasts, I do an audio edit and a video edit. And the edits are real simple. We do some audio touch-up, and we cut the ends, and then we upload. We don't do any heavy editing. So I've got Premiere. It's loading on the editing machine. It'll probably take me 30-40 minutes to get this completely done from a encoding standpoint. Then there's other stuff that I do with the show notes. I'll talk a little bit about that in the next stage. So I have the audio file processing with a product called Auphonic, and some of the automated processing goes on when we upload to Blueberry Podcasting as well. But what I do now in my process is I shut most of the gear down, so I don't need it for the post-processing. So the first thing to get shut down are the two Mac Minis. Like this is really interesting, right? And what it really does is I don't leave the gear on. Number one is to save on wear and tear. Some people say, oh, you should never shut off computers. Well, if you knew how much this one cost, you would shut it off too and not let it get hours. So this machine gets turned off. Not so much worried about the Mac Mini and stuff, but I definitely, this is a PC based machine. And then well, just what I want to do. Oh, this one needs some updates, so we'll do update and shut down. And then on this computer is where I start doing the show notes for the episode. Start working on the episode while the media file is processing. So got to make a few changes here, but anyway, we'll go into a much deeper podcast at some point, or vlog about the entire publishing process, but we won't do that today. But let me get started on this editing. While you haven't seen it, I've had a boatload of meetings today, dropped a ton of emails, and now it's just about 6 o'clock, and I'm wrapping things up, turning the lights off, and getting ready to head to the house. So it's been a very productive day. Got the episode out. You can check out the podcast episode over at newmediashow.com. But this is, just a little bit of a quick highlight of a day in my life, the way things run. And while this is just the start of this new vlog, I hope that you'll find some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about as we move forward in the future interesting. It's a lot of rinse, wash, and repeat. I'm sorry about that. Rinse, wash, and repeat every day. But just a little bit of the things I do here. And of course, I just shut the light off on you so you can't see me. But my goal here is to educate you a little bit about what goes on, why. Many people have always asked me, how you're always busy. Why are you busy? And I think as we start doing the series here, it'll be more evident. I think I'm probably crazy for doing this because I don't have enough time as it is on a daily basis. But we'll see. We'll get better with this over time. I'm sure this will be fun to edit and put out. I hope that you have enjoyed. But please tell your friends about this. hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe. And I'll bring you along with me on a more relaxed basis going forward. But again, this is just one day in the life of a founder of a podcast hosting company. And while you missed all the excitement of all the other stuff that was going on today, because I can't bring that to you because of, obviously reasons, business meetings and so forth, I think you saw another side of me, at least in retrospective, of what happens here on a daily basis. But 5:57, I'm going to leave the office and get out of here. And thank you so much for watching this edition, our first edition of my new YouTube series. Take care. Bye-bye.